So NTE has finally released and there is quite a few things to talk about. So, in order to not make you guys confused, I'm going to be making the phone feature as a basis of all the stuff that you need to know in NTE. My name is Yomi and this is the absolute beginner's guide to NTE. There is a lot of options in the phone. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is the 100 level. So when you reach a 100 level of 10, 20, 30, 40, 45, 50, and 55, your appraisal level will increase by 1. So you might be asking, what are the appraisal levels? So the appraisal level is basically what determines, the strength of the enemies and drop rewards that you encounter on basically anomaly encounters and discoveries. And your appraisal level will also determine your character and arc level limits, which can be unlocked after specific appraisal levels. And right now we have an appraisal level cap of 7, and the maximum 100 level is level 60. And when your 100 level reaches 20, 40, and 50, a corresponding 100 level breakthrough quest will unlock, and you will of course have to complete that to increase your 100 level. There's also one more thing you could do with the appraisal level, and is that you can adjust the appraisal level. So you can see right here that you can go from right now level 7 to level 6, and of course this will affect the mob's difficulty and also the drop rewards. This feature of course can lower the appraisal level by at most 1, and after using the lowering feature you cannot lower it again. You can only restore it, so you can only go from level 7 to 6 or 6 to 7. After using the appraisal level adjustment feature, you cannot adjust it for another 24 hours. So whether or not you're restoring your appraisal level or lowering it, you cannot adjust your appraisal level within that 24-hour period. So the next thing, we're gonna go to the actual tabs that we have on the phone. So the first thing is of course the mall. This is where you purchase in-game items. So for example, the dice cubes, these are premium currencies that you convert into the currencies that converts into the dice cube. We also got outfits and also a monthly pass as well. Gift centers, arc shops, fashion shops, fair exchange, hunter exchange, Rift Crystal Extract, and Mode Shop. So this is all basically where all the purchases goes. Next you have the events tab. So the events tab is where you get your beginners event login gifts. Anomaly Hunter's Journey, this is where you can obtain these rewards by leveling up your hunter level. Hunter's Journal, Big Owl Express, City Guide, Art Collection, and also Beyond the Rails, which is the end game of the game. Now the next tab is the City Tycoon, and I think the City Tycoon is actually the most important tab in the game. So if you click into City Tycoon, this is basically where all the fun stuff happens. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different tabs in this City Tycoon, and I feel like each of these tabs deserve their own video, but this is the beginner's guide, so this is gonna be like a quick walkthrough. So the first thing we have is the property. So the property is of course the apartments that you can buy in the game, and each apartment has of course different prices, different property types, and they are also in different areas. And each apartment has different anomaly features, and anomaly features are basically special effects that could be given to your characters. So for example, this paper plane in the Wiener apartment gives you reduced deployed characters climbing stamina costs. And if you go to the Golden Capital, for example, this thing gives your characters increased character pixel cap, and the amount of people that you can invite in your apartment also varies. So for example, the Franklin Villa, you can invite up to 5 characters. The Golden Capital, you can only invite 3 characters. Next we have the Cafe by Originin. So the Cafe by Originin is where you get most of your funds. So there are 5 cafe locations that you can unlock. So the first one you unlock is the Bluebeard Road location, and by leveling up your cafe level you can unlock all these other locations. Each of these characters have life skills. So these are the life skills basically. If I use Chiz as an example, if I put Chiz in the cafe location, then Chiz will increase the traffic of the cafe by 18, and then Chiz will reduce the ingredient consumption rate by 1%, and so on and so forth. So each character has their own special life skills that can help out the cafe. And the next thing that we have in the cafe is at the bottom we can see you got the food items that you can assign to the cafes. So you might be thinking, how do you get these food items? So if you click here, you go to management, you can unlock these items by, of course, reaching the management level. So, and then after you assigned the food items, you get fonts, and the acquirement of fonts will level up your cafe level. And you can of course also restock the food. So each of the food items of course has, these ingredients that they needed to. So if I click restock here, because right now I don't have anything left, click here, click restock, then click delivery, and then this will cost fonts of course, but I have fonts. And then now the items are restocked, and the cafes could start making money all over again. And once you make a certain amount of money, of course you can withdraw earnings. Right now I have no available earnings, but you can withdraw earnings, okay? And then by withdrawing earnings, you can of course increase your cafe level. And with the increase of the cafe level, you unlock different management perks. So right here, when you reach management level 2, delivery is unlocked and an 80% fee required. Level 15, delivery fee drops to 60%. Level 20, delivery fee drops to 40%. Fashion center unlocked. Level 25, delivery fee drops to 20%. Level 30, delivery is free. And then level 40, the auto restock option is unlocked. So the next tab that we have is of course the hunting through hobbies. Not every single hobby right here gives you fonts, but the hobbies that could give you fonts are going to be city delivery, races, owner selection, swift travel, and ping pong heist. The first thing you need to know is these hobbies all require city stamina, and this thing over here is what we call the city stamina. These are used for doing city activity. These are basically the stamina that you use for city activity. So for example, if you want to claim the rewards from winning a race, then you will have to use this item. The next thing we have is the Hunter Exchange. So the Hunter Exchange is basically what you can exchange with fonts. So for me, the most important thing to exchange, of course, is the aluminums. So the aluminums are gacha currencies, and also the tri-keys. Tri-keys are used to summon on weapon banners. But if you have already gotten all of these, then you can of course buy other stuff. So let's scoot over to the bottom here, and we have garages. So the garages is basically where you buy your cars. This menu also lets you modify your cars and also put passengers in your car. So if I, for example, pick this car and then hit passenger, then you'll be able to pick any character you want, of course with the bond level activated. So for example, if I use Daffodil for the passenger feature, it is level 2. Yes, so with a bond level 2, you can invite characters into your car, and also you can use this menu to repair your cars. So for example, if this shit is banged up, and you click this item to repair, and this repair will cost fonts of course, and there you go, then you can repair. Now you can also modify your car. So you basically go to Los Santos Customs to modify your cars. You basically drive your car there, and then there's a guy there that will help you to modify your car. The next tab we have is the races. So we have challenge races, online races, so co-op races, and also friend battles, so you can race against friends. This is where you get fonts as well. It is actually pretty fun. The driving of this game is a bit janky, but it's all about having fun, so I feel like this feature is also pretty good. Next we have the wealth board. So the wealth board basically takes account to all of the players in your server. And right now there's only me, of course, because this is the launch beta. So right now I earned 28,000 fonts, and of course being on rank 1, you unlock the rank rewards. So these are the titles that you can put on your character profiles. I mean, if you can get these, it's just for cosmetics, but it is pretty cool. And then last but not least, we have the big level up button. So the level up button is pretty simple. So for every single city tycoon level you unlock, you obtain of course leveling up rewards. And the most important thing is at level 18 you unlock a free S-rank character named Chiz, and Chiz is a really good S-rank character, so be sure to quickly level up your Tycoon level and then get her. I would just say be sure to level up to level 18 as fast as possible so you can unlock Chiz, because Chiz also is a really good DPS. Now the next thing we have is the circle bounty. So the circle bounty, in the simplest terms, is basically the battle pass that we get every single patch. So we of course got the standard hunter supply and the elite hunter supply, And of course, you have to purchase the Elite Hunter supply. So by doing the daily quest, the weekly quest, and of course the seasonal quest, you'll be able to, you know, get your experience points up, and then you'll of course be able to unlock all these levels and get these rewards. And of course, when you unlock the Elite Hunter supply level, you would be able to get a S rank arc. Now the next thing we have is the character menu. So the character menu, in the simplest terms, you of course see your character, you know, for example right here we got Nally's attributes and effects, and then we can also, you know, check out her weapon. So the weapon in this game is basically called Arcs. Console. Now the console is one of the most interesting, you know, relic system I've seen, you know, in any game right now. A quick explanation is that this is the relic system of, you know, NT. So the cartridges are basically these things on the bottom right here. So the orange color ones of course are the highest tier, and they of course give you, you know, a main attribute and then sub attributes. And then if you click onto module, the modules are the stuff that's in the actual Game Boy thingy. This of course are your modules, and each module of course has different sub attributes and also main attributes. So you can auto equip it, and then you can go to recommended, and then you can apply for the recommended. Then the game would just give you, you know, the most suitable options. What's even better is that you can actually see what substats you are going to be getting when leveling up, you know, the modules. So these are guaranteed. So, you know, you don't have to go, you know, 6-7 hours on getting like shitty fucking relics in other gacha games. You could just get it straight away in this game. You can enhance of course, but if you want a quicker way to enhance them, so when you click auto equip, you can just, you know, hit quick enhance, and if you have enough materials, you could just enhance all of them at the same time. And now everything is all maxed out. Then you of course have the awakening screen. So the awakening screen is basically the nodes that you unlock when you have extra dupe of the characters. And right here you of course got the effects of what each node would do when you unlock the node. And the best thing about this is that, for example, if you only have one dupe of the character, you will unlock one node slot, and that node slot you can unlock any single node. So for example, if you have one unlock node, you can unlock the number 6 node, which is crazy, because if I unlock one node, I can just unlock the best node effects of the character and get the best version of the character. And of course you can remove the effects of the nodes, and of course you can change the effects of the nodes. So there you go. Next we have Esper abilities. So the Esper ability of course is, you know, the character's abilities. So they of course have the basic attacks, the skills, the ultimate, the support skills, but the one thing they have is of course life skills. So life skills are basically what they can help you in, for example, the cafe, where Nally can increase the dish prices by 0.2 fonts for each main dish tag on dishes. So if you put Nally in the cafe, then that cafe will have less consumption rates on the ingredients. And of course each characters have different life skills that will be able to help you in like different kinds of areas. So for example, Half Force life skill at level 5 can help complete 1 city delivery per day and directly obtain the rewards, which is huge because now you don't have to spend time on doing the deliveries. You can just quickly get it. And then this is where you can also choose your outfits for your characters and also the glider livery for your characters. One more thing that makes this, you know, combat system so alluring is that right here you can see that Nally has, you know, a element. So Nally's element is anima, and if you click here, then you can see all the effects that Nally could get if you link them up, for example, with other elements on this little board. So for example, if you have Nally linked up with a character on this element, then Nally would deal an extra instance of follow-up attack damage to a target equal to 20% of anima and incantation damage taken within 12 seconds after triggering Esper's cycle. So when you are building your team, you really do want to look at each character's, you know, cycle reaction and see what really links up with each character. And, you know, overall, this just makes the combat system so much more engaging. Now the next big thing is the fair. So this is where you summon 4 characters. So right now, of course, I only have the standard banner, but as you know, simple terms of explaining, you know, this gacha system. This system is basically a board game, and then when you do a temple, you got 10 dice rolls, and each dice roll can roll up the numbers 1 to 6, and of course that determines how many tiles you move with each dice roll. And when you land on the tiles, then that is the reward that you are going to get. And you're guaranteed one additional A class item within 10 rolls. You of course get an S class character after 90 rolls. And on a limited banner, you guarantee the featured unit. So there is no 50-50 in this gacha system. And then after 70 rolls, if you don't get an S class character, the rate getting an S class character will increase. And for the standard banner, you have 20% off on your first 5-10 rolls. And then after the 5-10 rolls, you get a free S class character of your choosing. So these are the S class characters that you can choose. Choose whatever you want, but in my opinion, okay, Hathor is probably the most useful S class character right now, because unlike all these characters that would probably age out a couple patches, Hathor makes you unlock an anomaly furniture, and that anomaly furniture actually unlocks modules, and that actually resets every day, so you can get one module every day, and it has a chance to give you a gold module. So she is very useful, and her life skill also allows you to get one free delivery every single day, so an instant delivery every single day. Now the next thing we have is probably the thing that people are going to be most interested about, and that is the bond system. So if you click right here, we have the bond menu. So for example, we have mint right here. So in the bond menu, you can of course see the character affection level, and when you level up your affection level, which in this game we call the bond level, you'll be able to get these rewards. So for example, at level 4, you'll be able to unlock Mint's basic interaction actions, and then you can also invite Mint to your house. And then if you, for example, unlock level 10, then you'll be able to unlock a special Mint outfit and avatar. Now in this menu, you can also gift gifts to characters. So for example, this is what we call a handwritten letter, so it gives 2,000 affection points. So if you gift Mint, for example, 10 of these, you get 20,000 affection level, and these are of course used to increase the bond level. And then if you click on this tab right here, you can see all the interactions that you can do with Mint. So memory feeder is basically the character quest. Home time is basically the special interactions you can have with Mint in your house. City hangouts is of course the hangouts that you can have with Mint in the city, and they are at specific locations, so they're probably going to add more locations in the future, but we'll have to see. And then next we have the ride option. So I explained it before, you can invite characters to your car and then they could ride with him. So if you click this button, then you'll be able to ride with your character. Right here is join. So if I click this button right here, Mint will be able to join you in the real world, and you can of course interact with Mint. Now the next thing we have is the exploration guide. So if you click on this tab right here, then you'll see the exploration guide. So the exploration guide is basically rewards that you unlock for exploring the city. So for example, if you complete a tutorial quest, you get of course funds and also character hunter level exp. Next we got this. So this is basically the daily quest or dailies, So right here you can see that there is a refresh time, and when you gain 100 points, you of course unlock the 4 rewards. So be sure to do this every single day. Next we have basically the farming page of the game. So right here you can farm for example development materials, elite hunter guides for character exp. These are arc exp, of course ability upgrades as well. These are for character ability progression. Arc Ascensions are of course for Arc Ascensions, so weapon ascensions. Console is of course the relic system. Beyond the Rails is the endgame content, and then Anomaly Hunt is the weekly boss. So right here it's a 60, and you might be thinking, what are these? So these things are called character pixels, and these are of course used for farming events. These are the stamina used for farming events. So there are 2 kinds of staminas in this game: city stamina and character pixels, which I would say is just event stamina. Now the next tab is the character tutorial. Lastly, right here we have the enemy shadow elimination. So this is basically where you're gonna find the anomalies all around the city. So for example, if I press this one, it says not found, right? And I track anomaly, then the anomaly would be appearing within this circle right here. So it just makes you an easier time to track the anomalies. Now another thing that we do have is of course the anomaly commission. So this is basically where you find all the anomalies. So and then when you defeat these anomalies, you of course get rewards. Now the last thing I want to talk about is the inventory. So the inventory is of course where you put all your materials or your stuff, but there is actually one feature of the inventory, and that is you are actually going to be able to call a car or a vehicle in the inventory. So if you go to important items, you can pick the vehicle that you want to choose. So for example, if I hit this and I hit use, then the vehicle would be requested, and then you can of course ride in the vehicles. So yeah, this is going to be all the stuff that I will want to talk about in this beginner's guide. I know there is going to be a lot more in-depth stuff that people want to know, but I feel like those stuff, for example, the shop mechanics, deserve their own dedicated video. So this video just serves as the most basic stuff for people who just begin to play NTE. So if you like this video, please like and subscribe. It really does help out the channel a lot, and I'll see you in the next NTE video.